Tutorial on bedrooms, sitting rooms, carpets, dusting, furniture, stairs. I want to first show you dusting and polishing. Here is a general duster, and here is some furniture polish, and here is a table. Now, on most coffee tables, people have a selection of things. Make sure those are moved or taken off the table. You don't need to move everything. Often people have quite a few ornaments on there, and it's difficult to move things. But the general idea is to move things while you're on there. Find some pledge, general furniture polish, usually in a cupboard at the end of the bottom of the sink, and just spray a small amount of polish onto the table like that, and move to the grooves of the wood up and down like that, and that gives the table a really good shine, and it protects the table from dust appearing on the table. On a object like this, sometimes a bit of dust can be built up. Move it away from the table because we just polished there. So just clean around the edges like this. As you can see, there's quite a bit of fuss in that bowl. So it would be difficult in the time we have to clean houses to take all that off and clean it properly. But if you've got time, make sure all ornaments are dusted properly, and that gives a really good finish to any lounge or bedroom or hallway. The basic principle of cleaning a bedroom or a lounge or a stairway or a hallway is to make sure all horizontal surfaces where dust builds up are dusted. You don't need to use furniture polish every time. Just on furniture like that table here that needs to be protected. So I just show you generally what is required. Dust each surface. Where there's ornaments like this on a bookcase, take them off. Sometimes there's too many ornaments to take them all off, waste too much time. So don't always do that, but as you can see, I've dusted quite a few areas there on that shelf, and it's the same all the way down this bookcase, and sometimes often at the top, what people forget about. The only other thing is windowsills. Make sure they're all cleaned off, and the bottom of the windows. In lounges and bedrooms and hallways and stairways, there's rims around the walls here that build up a lot of dust. You don't need to do skirting boards every time, but if you've got time, always make sure skirting boards at the bottom here are all dusted off. Sometimes customers like you to do a special job with skirting boards and take a bucket round and clean them off properly without dusting them, because skirting boards can get dirty if you don't do them for a year or two. You can dust them off though if you're running out of time or you've just got 5 minutes to spare in a cleaning job. But particularly on stairways, which I'll show you towards the end of this tutorial, it's very important to get the skirting boards done. Not so important in lounges and bedrooms, but preferable if you've got time, I would say. The only other thing for dusting in lounges and bedrooms are to look at the TV. This is a flat screen TV, so usually I'd leave those alone because it's quite expensive equipment for you to be spraying a load of pledge around it or whatever you plan to do. But my general principle is to dust ever so slightly and be careful about this at the top of TVs and at the bottom here, where often people have TV stands. TV stands are big areas where dust accumulates, like here at the bottom. Here is like a hi-fi system and a skybox. Make sure that's all clean, and around there. Often there's a bin in bedrooms and lounges, often full of all sorts of things. Get a black bag and get rid of them and put them in their bin. If you've got the bin their wheelie bin at the front of their house, and that leaves a really good finish. After you've dusted, make sure everything is neat and tidy like that. We'll move on to seats later, but they've got to be clean and tidy as well. All sorts of extra bits in lounges like this need to be cleared up. Lampshades are often build up quite a bit of dust, and side tables like this all need to be cleaned off at the bottom of tables. Clean off all the horizontal surfaces, and the bottom of the lampshade like this. And seats are another area of cleaning that needs attention. A leather seat like this, especially if people are using them quite a lot, or pets or whatever, can build up quite a bit of dirt. Always find the pillows, they often have quite a bit of dust. Make sure these are all clean from dirt and dust. So often customers will have cleaning equipment for seats. From my experience, they don't have cleaning equipment for seats. If so, just dust them. Leather seats without any pledge on furniture like this isn't good. But leather shine is fantastic for this kind of equipment. So if I show you what to do with just a small amount of leather shine like that, it's perfect. And it gives it a really good shine. You don't have to clean as frantically like this, but you might really want to give it a good go in houses if you want to get things done quickly. And especially if you're really going with your cleaning, listening to music at the same time, you can really get a lot done. And it's good for the seat because you're really giving it quite a bit of elbow grease there. Look at the bottom of the seat like this, where sometimes people spill things like coffees or food, and make sure that that's looking all tidy. The other thing is, once you've cleaned the seat, make sure the pillows are looking tidy. People are often lying on pillows and they look a bit untidy, but you can put that up perfectly like that, but you can see a bit of a difference between that side of the seat and the other side. On seats like this, with a different texture, as you can see, that's very dirty and hairy. Now, it's very difficult to clean them off with a cloth. The hair just sticks on, so usually I would hoover a chair like this. And I'll demonstrate what to do with hoovering in lounges now. Here is a general Dyson. Hoovers can be completely different in different houses, but Dysons are very popular in British households. You can have a Henry Hoover, I've had those, but they all work in similar ways, I've found. So you have the middle part of the Hoover where all of the dirt accumulates. And if we take this off, I just demonstrate, you just click often a button like this to unclip it to get rid of dirt, but in Hoovers like Meatles and Henry Hoovers, it works in a different way. So usually they have a bag that a customer would empty. I found, and they're often quite good for us because it takes less time for us. But with the Dyson, you can see all the bits accumulating there, and this is the max sign. Never let dust and hair go over the max sign because then the filter stops working. The other thing I found with vacuums is that don't keep them going for a long period of time because they can overheat. So do vacuum in stages if it's quite a big house, but often that's not an issue that you will experience. Often at the top of a Hoover, which people don't really know about, if you're an unexperienced cleaner, there's a little attachment at the top. Often take it off. There's usually something that unclips this, but on this Dyson, you just pull it up like that and it comes apart. And this Hoover is particularly useful. This part of the Hoover is particularly useful if you're either cleaning a seat down the sides, cleaning around the sides of a lounge, fireplaces. Stairs are very good for this. You don't want to be using a very heavy Hoover like this on a stairway, because from my experience you'll get very tired out by that, or you'll give yourself an injury. So never Hoover a stair like this, because it's a very heavy vacuum. Get this like this and Hoover up the stairs like this on the stairway. And make sure all the dust on the side, on skirting boards, is all gone. Often they'll have a special attachment that you place on here to clean a stairway properly. There is a smaller item. Sometimes customers have brilliant handheld Dysons that are cordless, and you can use those equipment, those vacuums to clean stairs properly. But it's very important that they're hoovered well, regardless of the type of vacuum that you have. With some vacuums, it's impossible to clean stairs that way. If that's so, use the usual part of the vacuum to do a stairway. And if you're really struggling to know what to do with stairs, always ask customers or me for advice on what I'm doing with the stairway. But try not to ask too many questions to our customers, because really they expect you to be there and to do the job in a short amount of time. So it's very important that you get jobs like dusting and hoovering done very quickly. The only thing I would say with dusting is that in each room, I would say you're looking at spending no longer than 10 minutes dusting. Don't spend about half an hour in each room, because you'll run out of time. And the most important thing I found in houses to get done is the hoovering, the bathrooms and the kitchen. So dusting is like an extra to do later. Get the hoovering, make sure you get the hoovering done and the kitchen done and the bathrooms done. And that will help you build a high level of trust with customers, I found. With the general vacuum, obviously you'll have to attach it to a plug you can find around the edges of rooms and in hallways. But you're looking, at the moment, it's on a setting, so the suction comes out of this attachment. With the bottom of the vacuum here, you need to lower the Hoover like that, so then you can move it up and down like this, and then all your dirt and hairs come into this item here. When you're hoovering in people's houses, try and make sure you move things. So, if you've got like a dog basket like this, or if you've got a bin like this, move them out of the way and hoover in behind. Often, customers, if they have light equipment, like furniture, like you to move those out of the way, so all of the bits in behind the furniture are also clean. So, if I demonstrate what I mean by that on this table here, a lot of people would just hoover this bit and think it's clean, but what our customers are looking for is not the cleaning they can do, it's the cleaning they don't get done, which needs doing the most. So be careful with moving things. Make sure that there's not too many things on their tables when you're moving it, and take lamps off and so forth. But get in behind coffee tables, around the edges of seats, around the back of seats. Get in behind and make sure that they're clean. And get your hoover in. If it's too difficult to move things, use your attachment and go like this around the back to make sure all that's clean. Particularly if people have a seat where dust and hair can accumulate underneath the seat, because if you just hoover around the seat, when you're sat down in an area like this, you can see loads of dust underneath furniture, and that, for me, shows that the lounge or bedroom isn't really clean. And it's the same with beds, side tables, wardrobes, the same principle. And people often have other kind of equipment, like gym equipment, or clothes hanging around. Move all their items out of the way when you're doing a floor, and put them elsewhere, and place important items back to the position that they were in before. That's about it with hoovering and polishing and dusting for lounges and bedrooms and stairways. If you have any more questions, get in touch with me. If you need any tips or help, ask me. Or if you're in a house and you're really struggling, always ask customers, and they are aware of what needs to be done in their house. Everyone's different, so they may not need you to dust in a particular area, but from my experience, nearly every single customer likes you to hoover their house comprehensively, especially if you've got quite a heavy vacuum like this, because it can be quite difficult. So vacuuming is a very important thing to get right in a house. Here is a quick demonstration on how to clean paintwork, switches, brass, that kind of thing that I've not covered in other videos with dusting, hoovering and polishing. Here is a door that is quite dirty in terms of people's finger marks and general dust that has built up over time. What I would do is I get a clean cloth. It's very important that it's clean, not a duster. Get a bucket full of quite weak water in terms of what cleaning fluid you use. It shouldn't be that strong because you don't want to damage the woodwork. The general principle is that you get your clean cloth and look for any finger marks, any dust that can't be picked up by a duster. Get into the grooves like this and look for any marks. Here is a mark. Can I get rid of it with a clean cloth? The answer is yes. The mark's gone. But I've also left some dirt and some residue that also needs to be dried off, so you don't just leave all of your cleaning streaks for the customer to view. So give that a dry. Make sure that window of the door is completely dry from any cleaning fluid, and try and get rid of each individual mark like what you've seen there. Get rid of it. It's worse by the handles. So sometimes it's good to get down on your knees and look for the areas around the handle where people always put their finger marks. On the side of the door here, clean up and down, and make sure all around the handle is done. Here is some brass that also needs cleaning. Look for some brass cleaner if they've got it. If not, just use a general cloth microfiber like this and make sure it's shiny from any marks. It's sometimes not as bad on handles like this, surprisingly. I find that the worst area for brass is on switches. So here is a switch that actually looks quite clean to me, but it's a good idea to get rid of the marks around the brass. Be very careful with brass, particularly switches, because of the electricity. We don't want a cloth with loads of water on it when you're doing a switch. So be very careful. You don't need to do switches in every house. It's an extra job, like the skirting boards are, but it's always a good one to do if you want to give a room like this that looks quite clean, a really good extra touch that our customers appreciate. So give that a shine on the tops and around. The only other areas you see brass are on equipment, like down by the fireplace there, like the lanterns, the fire equipment, sometimes post boxes. Letter boxes are quite brassy, the bottoms of doors, door handles. You see quite a bit of brass, and the top of mirrors, like at the top of that mirror in that room over there. Other than that, that is all that is required with paintwork and brass. Here is a spot, a stain on a carpet. And here is some Vanish Oxy Action Power Spray for pets. This stain here has been created by a dog. There's lots of stains that can appear on carpets. Footprints are usually the culprits, or food or coffee. But always ask a customer if they want you to get rid of the stain, because it's a bit of an extra job that's not always required in a house. But something like Vanish Oxy Action Max is perfect for getting rid of a stain like this. And what you need to do is give the area where the stain is a bit of time with the Vanish to clean. And while you're waiting for that to clean, you can look for other areas on the stairs that really require cleaning. And I can see from this stairway that really it needs a bit of a hoover. And I'm going to show you, like I did in other tutorials, how to actually use the hoover practically on the stairs, because it's a bit of a difficult thing to do, because it's quite heavy to take all the way up there. So I'm going to turn it on, and you're just going to have to watch while the hoover is on. Do that all the way up the stairs in a similar way to that, using this extension on the vacuum on the stairs, the smaller stairs. When you get a bigger step like this, it's a good idea to use the main part of the vacuum, because it's a bigger area and you can get it done a lot quicker, but the vacuum's very heavy, so don't take it all the way up there, or that will cause you a lot of problems. As you can see, this spot has been reacting with the Vanish Oxy Action Max, and the cleaning product has gone into the carpet and absorbed very quickly in a short space of time. So what I do at this stage is I get a cloth, give it a really good scrub, like this,